Fern is one of the most popular YouTube channels on the platform, pulling in millions of views every day, and a big reason for that is their thumbnails. In this tutorial, I'll show you exactly how to create thumbnails just like Fern for free using only After Effects. So without further ado, let's get started. So when you open After Effects and import all these elements that you can find links in the description, we can start with making our thumbnail. So first I'm going to import this male head GLB 3D object, which you can again find the links in the description. So I'm going to adjust Z rotation and a little bit of X. And then I'm going to increase scale by pressing S on the keyboard and increasing scale. Then we can move it below here. Then I'm going to draw a rectangle over it and add a fill color. So maybe start with brownish one, for example, like this. And then here, select transparency. So it only affects the head. And then here in mode, I'm going to select exclusion. So the next step is to draw shapes over the eyes and over the mouth. So I'm going to select a pen tool and start with drawing. So first create an anchor point, then anchor point again here and add this sort of curve. And then maybe like this and close it off. So that's how you create shapes inside Adobe After Effects using pen tool. So I'm going to repeat the process by drawing another shape over this eye here, like this, and then we are going to draw another shape over the mouth. So I'm going to select anchor point here, draw the curve, close it off, maybe add one anchor point here so we can adjust. Then again, select the last one, create an anchor point again, and close it off. Now I'm going to select all these shape layers and change their fill color to yellowish. For example, like this. Pardon me, this wasn't the right layer, so I'm going to go back and turn it into a brownish color. So the next step is to add glow effect to these shape layers. So here in effects and presets, I'm going to type glow and then drag it on shape layer 3 and shape layer 2. I'm going to add one more glow and here increase glow radius to 31 and then repeat the process for shape layer 3. And here again, increase radius to 33. To mimic this nerve effect in Fern's thumbnail, I had an idea to import a tree image. So here in projects, I'm going to find a tree. So this is a tree image in transparent format, and I'm going to decrease scale like this maybe. And then let's make a composition. And then here in composition, let's draw a mask. So I want to extract only one branch. So I'm going to start by extracting maybe this section here. So make sure that you select your image and then select pen tool and start with extracting a branch. So now as you can see, we are finished with this part here. So let's make a copy out of this layer 2 more times. So I'm going to make a copy and one more time. And let's start with organizing them. So add a rotation here. And then for this layer, add one more rotation. And let's place it here, for example. And now let's go back to our composition. So as you can see, this isn't very spectacular right now. So I'm going to position it here maybe. Now let's go back to our composition and let's draw one more rectangle. And let's change fill color to yellow again. For example, this one. And then here again, select transparency so it only affects the tree. And then let's go back to our composition. Now, maybe let's draw a mask over the hair so we don't have branches going around the hair. And now you can close it off around here. Now, as you can see, the mask only affects this side here. So what you need to do is go to mask and select inverted checkbox. Okay, as you can see, we have a problem here. So I'm going to adjust anchor points like this, and that's it. Now, here in mask, I'm going to add a bit of feather, so the cuts aren't that rough. Sweet, so next I'm going to create one more rectangle over the head. Again, let's maybe go with brownish one, like this. So when you draw a rectangle, select a transparency here, so it only affects the head. And here in blending mode, select hard mix. And as you can see now, this is very rough. So let's decrease opacity to, let's say, 67. And as you can see, this branch is going over our head because I forgot to also select transparency here. As you can see, we mimicked the nerves using a transparent image of a tree. So that's a very nice way of creating this effect. Now let's pre-compose all these layers and we can move on to making a background, for example. So select all of these layers, pre-compose, and let's type head. So now we're done with the main part of the thumbnail. So next I want to create a background. So first I'm going to import this trippy background that I found on FreePiks. Again, you can find the links in the description. So I'm going to adjust so it fits on the screen. And as you can see, we have edges that aren't covered. So what you can do is go to Effects and Presets and type CC Reptile, and then drag that effect on your image. And then by expanding right, left, and then adding blend borders, like this, you can create this trippy background that we can use for our thumbnail. So I'm going to go back to projects and import another layer. And then as you can see, I'm going to import this image over our previous image. So as you can see, I'm going to import it here. And then let's decrease opacity to around 35, 6. Here, create a new adjustment layer. And here in Effects and Presets, type CC Vignette. And then drag it on your adjustment layer. And then here, I'm going to increase amount to 373. So this section is also done. Next, I'm going to select a type tool and draw a text box around the head and type DMT. And then the closest font that I found is Menda, which I'm going to open here. Then let's decrease the size, and here in Align, select Align Vertically, and then let's move it below. Now I also want to increase a vertical scale. So here I'm going to increase it to 186 and then place it below the head. So because the M isn't very visible, I'm going to move head below like this. Now, as you can see, this word has this sort of grungy effect and also this red shadow below it. So in order to do that, I'm going to go back to our composition. Here, I'm going to pre-compose this text layer and then click OK. Now open it. And I'm going to drag over this grungy effect. And again, select transparency layer, maybe decrease scale a bit so it's closest look. For example, like this. And then let's go back. Here in Effects and Presets, type Drop Shadow. And then drag that effect on your composition. And here change shadow color to red. Let's increase distance and adjust angle so it's around 180. Increase opacity to 57 and then softness to, let's say 25. So again, this part is also done. So as you can see, this thumbnail has these pills. I'm going to go back to my composition. And here in project, I'm going to import this variety of pills GLB object. Then click Make Comp Size. And as you can see, we imported all these sorts of pills. But don't worry, what you need to do is just pre-compose this GLB format and then select a rectangle and only draw a mask over the pill. And then let's create another composition out of this composition. And then copy this mask, go back, paste it, and then let's delete this mask. So we're done with this step. I'm going to go back to the pill, import a skull PNG image above it like this, and then let's decrease scale. So I'm going to move it on this white section so it's visible. This is large, so I'm going to set it to 3%. Add rotation to -90. Adjust scale to 4%. Then I'm going to go back. So if we look at this pill here, it has this sort of blur and also this outline that is similar to a rainbow color. So how you can recreate that is by going to Effects and Presets and by typing radial blur and dragging it over the composition. You can have this effect that isn't done yet. So let's decrease amount to 5. And let's find an anchor point. So yeah, it's here. So how you can add effect is by moving this anchor point above the section that you want to add blur over. So if I drag my anchor point over the white section, as you can see, the red one is getting the blur. And if I move the anchor point to red part, as you can see, the white is blurred. So I think that the best solution is to go over the white section. Then here in Effects and Presets, type glow. And then drag it over the composition. And let's add glow radius to 133. And then the final step is to add quick chromatic aberration, which is a free plugin that you can find on AE scripts. So I'm going to type here quick chromatic and then drag it over the layer. And then this is perfect, so I don't have to touch anything here. I want to align an anchor point over the center. So how you can do that is by going to transform and click center anchor point in layer content. And then I'm going to make a copy of this composition 3 more times. So first copy here, let's add a rotation, make copy 2 more times, position a pill here, let's add rotation, and then 1 more adjustment here. And that's pretty much it. Now you can play with the layout of the design. So now if we go back to a thumbnail and see this light that is appearing from the eye. So how you can recreate it is by creating a new adjustment layer over all of the previously created layers. And here in Effects and Presets, type light rays. And then drag that effect on your adjustment layer. And then by moving this center over the eye, as you can see, we're creating this effect here. So you can increase intensity as much as you want. Maybe let's decrease radius, so the light rays are more smooth. So as you can see, we added these light rays on the eye, but as you can see, it's going over the whole image. So I want to create mask. So select adjustment layer, select oval tool, and then create mask. And then here in mask, add mask feather. And that's pretty much it. Now you have your thumbnail made in After Effects. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you want to support me, please leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, bye.